In this episode of Latch-Key Dads, we go back to the year 1983, the year that the G.I. Joe TV show aired.
Oh, awesome.
And we will interview Duke.
You got that interview?
We did.
Nice. Awesome. Our second celebrity interview. That is exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to talk to Duke and find out all about his life. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
And we'll talk all things September 1983?
Sounds great.
Okay, cool. Hey, Tim, I was just curious. Did you go like four-wheel in your car? It's like really muddy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I wanted to take care of that before we do the interview. So I'm going to just go wash my car. I'll be right back.
Sure. Okay. Gotta go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Latch-Key Dads. Quick apology to our audience, but Tim is unable to make it today as he is washing his car. But I'm here, and we've got with us a very, very special guest, all the way from Tim's mom's attic, Tim's favorite G.I. Joe toy, Duke. Duke, if that is your real name. We're really glad to have you here. Thanks for coming on.
Yo Joe, or I guess maybe I should say Yo Greg. Thanks for having me on your show.
Well, it's good to have you here. Thanks for coming. So we'll just start off with some obvious questions here. What was it like being Tim's toy? I mean, you realize how lucky you are. You know, he kept all of his toys in pristine condition, many times in the box. Did you ever thank him?
You know, that's a interesting question. Spent so much time, being one of the Joes and being part of a team, and
Sure.
then to have so much time just to sit and think by myself. It never crossed my mind to think that, young boy, and so I'll take this opportunity now. What was his name again? Tom? Tim.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
How could I forget? Yeah. Well, I was in that coma for such a long time. Do forget things
Sure.
once in a while. So, Gary, I'll go ahead and take that opportunity now to thank Tim. Thank you, son. Well done.
No, it's Greg. I'm Greg.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Jerry. My bad. Sorry.
Okay. Well, did you ever have, did you ever have any encounters with any of Tim's clowns?
That's a scary thing right there.
Sure.
I've seen some really scary things out there on the battlefield. A man who becomes a cobra. That's a scary thing right there, I can tell you firsthand. But wake up in the middle of the night and see a clown laughing at you. My golly, my undershorts were wet on more than one occasion with that situation, and we actually had to take a few of them out.
You did?
Those clowns, they're not with us anymore. At least they're buried real far underneath some wooden boards in that attic.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you lose any good men and women in that battle?
Well, there were a few got injured real bad.
Okay.
Torso separated from their legs. Sometimes an arm might fall off. We gathered all those parts up, though, and we're hoping that young man, Tim, I think you mentioned.
Tim, yeah.
Yeah, he's repaired a few of our comrades who got injured in those battles. He's done a fine job. He's a good man.
Yeah, definitely. Is it true that Cobra Commander is, in fact, Mark Zuckerberg, owner and CEO of Facebook and Meta?
Now, those two things you just said there, son, I don't know what you're talking about. Some kind of meta. That sounds more like medic. I know a lot about medics, but meta I don't know nothing about. And the Book of Face. I know there was a gentleman I worked with years ago after Joe split up. I did some work with an outfit. I believe they were called the A-Team. And
yes,
there was a gentleman there named Face. I do know Face. I don't know Facebook, though.
No. Okay. All right. There was just a rumor going around, but if you don't know anything about it, okay. All right. We'll just move on. We'll move off of that Cobra Commander thing. What are your thoughts on the original Transformers cartoon movie?
We spent a lot of time in similar situations, battling the evil of the world.
Yeah.
And, that Optimus Prime, the way he'd go into battle, the way he'd call his troops.
Real leader, right?
Oh, yeah. True leader right there, yeah. And, when he fell, oh, by golly, oh, my heart. And when I got struck in '87 by that snake in my chest, I thought, am I going down like Optimus? Am I going to survive? And boy, those are some dark times. And I thought about Optimus a lot during that time when I was in that coma. Yeah.
Interesting that you should mention your event, your movie. Are you still bitter that it was never released in movie theaters?
Well, I was out for so long. I had a lot of time to think about life, and really, when I woke up, it really didn't even think that'd be something I would worry about. Now that some time's gone by, and I have to start each day by drinking a glass of honey badger milk just to counteract that venom that runs through my veins to this day. I'm starting to get a little bit bitter about that.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen, all my young comrades out there who've been helping us, believing in us for all those years, to have an opportunity to see us on the big screen. Sure.
Rumor has it that snake attack, really affected you and really impacted you. And, as you had quite the troublesome decade of the 90s. You struggled a bit, Duke. Let's be honest here. Let's call it out.
It's true.
Does it all relate to that serpent to the chest?
I don't like to put a reason on things that is outside of my own control, but in that situation, it did cause some problems, scrambled my brain a little bit. I was a linguist. I could speak in many languages. Obviously really? English, French, German. Oh. And sometimes I'd go to be in a situation where I need to speak German, and I'd let something out like, "Ich bin ein Berliner," which we all know now translates to "I'm a jelly donut," which is that's embarrassing.
It's weird,
when your brain is scrambled like that. I think it might have had something to do with that situation there. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, who am I to say this? But we really have to bring this up. I know you had the checkered past of the 90s. You kind of went a little bit nuts. But what my audience really wants to know, what our audience really wants to know, is what really happened on the night of June 12th, 1994, between you, Scarlett, and Mr. T.
Well, You're bringing up an interesting night there. You're missing one important person who was a part of that evening. I'll share his information with you here.
Okay.
This gentleman here. He was a limited edition.
The fridge.
Yeah, the fridge was there too.
Refrigerator Perry was involved. This is the first I've heard of this.
Yeah, this is new information that the world has not yet been aware of.
Okay.
But we were setting up a defensive play,
and
we weren't sure we were going to be able to break through. And we called in the fridge. And he lined up in the backfield, and he broke through for us. And Miss Scarlett, she always had eyes for snake eyes, actually. Despite
that was the rumor.
The moment I got to see myself fall in the film, how she was cradling me there and trying to make sure I'd be okay, I realized that maybe the feelings I had for her all those years were maybe reciprocated. And on that night that you speak of, while the refrigerator Perry was in front of us, we snuck a kiss, and I'm here to report to you today that Miss Scarlett and I are married.
Really?
Yeah.
And how does Sergeant Slaughter fit into all of this?
Well, the Sarge, he's been my wingman.
Really?
For quite some time, yeah. We actually put on wrestling masks, went down to Mexico, and the two of us were a tag team for a number of years.
What was your tag team names?
Oh, that's something I can't reveal because if the world knew who we were and some of the things we did, then wouldn't be able to be on the show here today.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Maybe on my deathbed when that snake venom finally is got the better of me and I run out of badger milk.
The badger milk, right?
I'll yell that out before I pass.
Interesting. To continue with this, so you've been. You must have been very disappointed when you didn't land the role as yourself in the G.I. Joe live action movie, and instead that went to Channing Tatum.
Yeah, that young man likes to show his buttocks on the big screen quite a bit, and I was disappointed that they didn't offer me that opportunity, but being that I was fighting clowns, I really had to stay on that front. Couldn't leave my men behind. So I appreciate that they picked a young man who was strong and willing to step in there. He's a bit of a funny guy, though. He does some funny things on screen. But it's all right,
With all due respect, Duke, I think you're glazing over the fact that you were arrested for breaking into Channing Tatum's house and spray painting. You can't beat Duke. You bleeping bleep magic Mike bleeps my bleeping bleep. So, how do you explain that?
Well, that's yet to been actually any evidence there to prove that was in fact me. The spray paint that is on my index finger here, that is unrelated.
Is it?
Yeah, that was actually the young man Tim. He had set up a situation in the backyard when I was back in the 80s, and a little bit of paint got on my finger there, but nothing to do with that situation.
Nothing at all.
No,
that's what you're here today to say, that you were not involved in that incident.
No, there's if the spray can don't fit, you must have quit.
Okay, all right. Well, this has been a very eye-opening interview, Duke. I do know you're here to promote a few things.
Yeah, being taken out for so many years, the finances got a little thin, and I got to support my fine wife Scarlett. So we spent some time thinking up some ideas, and I'd like to throw a couple of them at you today, and just get your opinions if you think it'd be something you'd want to purchase. The first is Duke's Bison Burgers, knowing it's half the cattle. No? All right. Well,
yeah, now, I don't know if that one will go, but what, you got another one?
Got another one here. It's
all right.
Duke's Boards and Boats, rowing is half the paddle. No?
I sense a theme here, but go ahead. Okay.
I got a couple more for you here. Duke's True American Tractors. I think you know where I'm going here with mowing is half the battle. Yeah. Now, this last one I'm particularly proud of.
Okay.
I think this one's got some real...
Sure.
Being an older man, I think this could be a real winner. Duke's Legendary Laxatives, when going, is half the battle.
I think you got a winner with that one. That one's pretty good.
All right, I think we'll put some money into that one.
Yeah, I'd invest into that and see what you can do out of that. But I'm happy to hear and learn that you're with Scarlett. Rumors had it that it was her and Mr. T were running away, but good to hear that those were just rumors.
Yeah, when I linked up with T and Faceman, Murdoch, and Hannibal,
sure,
on that A team, we talked that through.
Yeah.
T realized that being a crossover member of both G.I. Joe and A-Team, he really had no business crossing over to Miss Scarlett there. And we worked that out. We're good friends now. He was actually part of my wedding. Mr.
Okay.
T, he was not my best man, but one of my men. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that you guys are getting along. You got a lot of products here, and I know economy's tough right now, but good luck with your new ventures, shall I say?
Thank you. Thank you, Gavin.
And thanks for coming on our show.
All right, then, Gavin, thanks again for having me.
Take care, Duke. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Latch-Key Dads. This is Greg, and here he comes now. Here's...
Hey, Greg, wait. I'm here. I just finished washing my car.
Nice.
I'm ready to go.
Okay. Yeah. How'd it go? You get all shiny and nice?
Sure.
Did you wax on and wax off?
Yeah, the car is nice and shiny.
There you go. Well, this episode is all... you missed the interview with Duke. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That was today?
Yeah. He's around here somewhere if you want to get his autograph. I know,
Oh, all right. I'll have to keep an eye out for him.
Yeah. So we decided to talk all about September of 1983, since we had Duke come in, because that was the month that the G.I. Joe Real American Hero cartoon premiered.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah. I figured. Gotta have something on there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So one of the first movies was a movie called The Big Chill.
Oh, sure. I've heard of that.
Yeah, yeah. I remember the premise that it was a bunch of college friends who get together at a house, and it's the funeral of one of their other friends, and they all kind of hang out. And
Okay.
yeah, not super uplifting. I don't think I ever saw it, but I do remember.
Not a movie built for 8-year-olds and 7-year-olds?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not so much.
The next movie on this list was another one that I've never seen, Educating Rita, with Michael Caine and Julie Walters.
Yeah.
You know, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. Revenge of the Ninja.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Death Stalker?
Yeah, 8-year-old, 7-year-old Tim wasn't interested in
No,
Death
your parents
Stalker.
weren't taking you to see Death Stalker in the Friday nights? Okay. All right.
Brainstorm with Christopher Walken and Natalie Wood.
Nope. Nothing here. Got nothing, Tim.
Yeah. So listeners, we are really enjoying these movies from
Yes.
83. I hope you enjoyed them too.
And last on the list, thankfully, is I've heard of this movie now.
Yeah.
Eddie and the Cruisers.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Another film with Tom Berenger. He was in The Big Chill as well.
Okay.
But,
all right, well, let's move on.
All right. Well done.
Well, we were talking that this was the month and year that the G.I. Joe Real American Hero cartoon premiered. And so I kind of was curious. I was like, well, maybe September was the month that was the premiere of kids' cartoons, after school made sense. And I found there was quite a number of really, really fun cartoons premiered this month.
Yeah.
Obviously, G.I. Joe The Real American Hero did, but check out some of these other ones, Tim. What do you think?
Yeah, the He-Man and Masters of the Universe, that came out at the same time. That was an awesome show.
Yeah. This one was probably my all-time favorite, was the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, which was so epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being on. I know you played, as a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't actually play as a kid, so it was a little bit kind of off my radar. I wasn't as into it probably as if I had played Dungeons and Dragons, but I do remember it, and it was a cool show.
We should do a maybe a little more in depth on that another time, because it was one of those shows that ended with a cliffhanger kind of thing, and they never came back. But a script was written, so I think and that script is out there somewhere. So it might be a fun
that'd
thing
be
to
fun.
Check it out.
Sure, yeah. There was the Alvin and the Chipmunks show, which classic.
I like
Chipmunks,
this one was brought back a lot of memories for me. I liked this show as a kid, and I'd forgotten it until I saw it. Was The Littles?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You remember them? They were I don't know if they had tails, they were mice, they were humans. I'm not sure what
it seemed to be sort of a crossover thing, sort of a human element to an animal, but they were small, and it was fun. I think as a kid, almost like the if you remember that book, The Mouse and the Motorcycle,
where
they you have the mouse that has all these human characteristics. I think it pulled from that same sort of world, and it was fun.
Definitely liked that one as a kid. Now, this next one is a little bit of a infamy, because I think growing up, every kid at some point goes through the Scooby-Doo phase, right? Sure. Who doesn't love Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's that atrocity by the name of Scrappy-Doo, who I think everybody unanimously hates. And so this was a new version called the New Scooby-Doo and Scrappy Show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they tried. I don't think it was... It was the right direction.
No, it really was. Did you see the Scooby-Doo live action movies?
Yeah, it's funny with the holidays. We had just celebrated Halloween not that long ago, and my wife and I, we tried to watch the. I can't remember exactly when it came out, but it had Matthew Lillard in it, and I mean, it was mildly entertaining, but the CGI wasn't quite there with Scooby, and he was he was odd looking at best.
I do like those movies. I was I was a big a naysayer when I first saw it, and I was like, I don't know, but then I was like, wow, it was so much fun, and the characters, especially Matthew Lillard. Lillard?
Yeah.
Just absolutely nails Shaggy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how good he does that voice.
Yeah. Like Jinkies, man. Hey, Scoob. No, it's really good. And, even the rest of the cast, I think they did a pretty good job of, I think it was Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah,
who plays,
Sarah Michelle Gellar, my
yeah.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
And even the sequel, I don't know if you had seen the sequel or not, but I even enjoyed that. I have them on DVD.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You went the extra mile.
I was a big fan. It's funny because I was just talking to my kids, the twins and William, and I don't know, the movie came up in discussion, and they said something I thought was so funny because I had shown that movie to them when they were like 8 or 9, like they're really, kind of like that young age. And Joe says to me, I remember when I was like 14 and I found out that Spooky Island didn't exist, and I was so bummed. It's just so funny to think that, as a little kid, you think that the place might exist.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That innocence. That's great.
What's the next? Oh, the next one on the list, the Charlie Brown and Snoopy Show.
Yeah. I'm sure I watched it. I mean, I think I mentioned that, in addition to the clown collection, I had Snoopies and stuff that I collected. So I'm sure I watched that show as well. And then there was the Saturday Supercade, which was a series of shows that were all tied to arcade games.
Yep.
Donkey Kong Jr., Frogger, Q*bert, and Pitfall Harry.
And I remember Q*bert quite a bit, but I don't remember the other ones.
Yeah. I'm
so much.
I feel like I kind of remember the Donkey Kong one. I don't know how much of that though has been like filled in by like playing Donkey Kong Country, and like that, and how animated the game.
Nintendo.
Yeah, that was, the animation on it was so good. It kind of felt like it was a show of the same vein as like what these shows were like. So
Yeah.
How much of my memory is that versus the show? I don't know, but yeah, they were fun. They're good shows.
And another new cartoon for September of '83 was the Mr. T cartoon show, which was,
Yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures of the animated version of Mr. T, but the specifics of the show I don't remember. I don't know. I mean, just based on how many cartoons there were there, I mean, I know I watched a lot of TV, but I'm sure I missed a few along the way.
Yeah.
So.
I probably spent more time staring at my Mr. T cereal box than I did the cartoon, Did you eat Mr. T cereal?
No, I mean, I feel like I primarily ate like Raisin Bran and stuff. Like we didn't have a lot of the, like the Sugar Smacks, all that kind of stuff. So no, I missed out on Mr. T cereal.
Oh.
Yeah. Was it good?
I mean, it was sugar, so yeah.
We'll have to track to someone down and see if we can eat some cereal from 1983.
Is it safe?
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to the new releases, new albums that came out in September of 1983. Some good ones and some not so good ones, as we like to say. We'll kick it off. This is new to me, but Tom Waits' Swordfish Trombones.
Yeah, I think we talked about Tom before. I mean, I know his style of music is, it's very distinctive. People love it. But again, at the time, we were pretty young, so we weren't listening to it. And as I got older, I've heard a few of his songs, but I've never been a huge Tom Waits.
No.
After that, Motley Crue, "Shout at the Devil." Now, when at 7, I mean, I'd been listening to it, but I know as I got older, my brother and I both listened to some Motley Crue, and that was a quintessential song.
Quintessential,
gotta throw that quintessential in there once in a while. So
great album. Definitely didn't discover it in 1983.
Yeah.
And this guy his band was probably one of the hottest acts for a lot during the early 80s. Huey Lewis and the News and their album Sports.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Top 40 radio was playing it a lot. I know we had it on cassette. And I think I've mentioned before, my brother and I would go to our music lessons. We'd sit in the old Toyota Celica. And Van Halen got a lot of the time as we'd drive, but Huey Lewis Sports definitely got a fair share of play in the car as well. So,
yeah.
After that, Kiss, Lick It Up. That album came out then.
And after that was Alice Cooper with Dada.
Right.
Or Dada. I don't know.
I'm going with Dada.
Dada. Knowing Alice Cooper, it was probably Dada.
Yeah. I know X came up before, and they put out their album More Fun in the New World. And I believe we didn't know anything about X before, and I haven't learned anything since.
Nothing's changed. UB40 came out with their Labor of Love album.
Yep. Johnny Cash came out with his Johnny 99.
Yeah. The Romantics came out with In Heat.
DeBarge put out In a Special Way.
And I don't think this song was on that album. We're gonna have to find out. But Rhythm of the Night by DeBarge, I just love that song. It's like a guilty pleasure. I don't know what it is. It's on one of my playlists, and it comes on, and I'm just like into that. I don't know why.
So when Greg's having a bad day,
yeah,
cue up the
it
DeBarge.
just makes me feel better.
That's good. After that, Celine Dion. And I'm gonna have to call in. I found our friend Duke.
Oh,
he was still wandering around.
He
hasn't found his way out. And
okay,
he's gonna do the this next one.
Well, he speaks French, right?
He speaks French.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Thank you guys for letting me back in. I got a little confused and I didn't know how to get out of the studio here. And so, yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll take care of this one for you. It's a French title for the Celine Dion. The Les Chamis de Marseille.
Thanks, Duke.
I don't know if that's right or not.
Anyway,
I'm going to try to get out of here again.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Duke.
See you, fellas.
Okay. I had wanted to ask Duke what that meant, but he's busy. He's got to get going. He's got
He seemed confused. Now you seem confused, Greg.
I got thrown. I forgot his product. He had these. You missed it because you were washing the car, but he was selling some products. And yeah.
Oh,
so.
well, maybe if he wanders back in again, I can ask him about his products.
Okay.
Yeah.
Linda Ronstadt put out her album, What's New?
And the last one here on the list, Eddie Money, Nothing to Lose.
Was Eddie Money the guy that was in Eddie and the Cruisers? Or is that completely not related?
It's a great question.
All
Somebody
right,
probably knows that.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I was just curious. I have no idea. This is a little before my time. I don't know if they're related or not. Because I'm pretty sure Eddie and the Cruisers is about like a rock and roll band.
It sounds very plausible. Right? I like it.
All right. We're going with it.
We're going to check that out, and we'll get back in the report card.
Now, as good as those albums were, Tim, the top 10 was a little bit more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to kick us off here with number 10?
Number 10, yeah, sure. Culture Club. We've talked about them before. They had their I'll Tumble For You.
Very good.
Very good song, yeah.
Shortly, number 9, we have Michael Jackson with Human Nature.
Again, off the Thriller album. I do remember that one. Good song. At number 8, I know we've talked about her before, Bonnie Taylor with her Total Eclipse of the Heart. I think that song must have been on the top 10 for,
I was going to say,
years. Just always there.
Coming in at number 7, great song, Donna Summer, She Works Hard for the Money.
Good song. Number 6, The Police, Every Breath You Take.
Oh, good song.
Yep.
Coming in at number 5, Billy Joel, Tell Her About It.
This next one is it's one of those songs that, I don't know if they had any other songs that anybody knows, but when you hear it, you know it. It was a band called Taco, and it was Putting on the Ritz.
Now, every time I hear that song, all I think of is the movie Young Frankenstein.
Okay.
Did you ever see that? Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
And then the monster's on stage, and he goes, Putting on the Ritz. so funny.
That's great.
Coming in number 3 is Men Without Hats and the Safety Dance.
Again, I think we've mentioned it before. I think it was on, again, it probably was in the top 10 for quite a while, and it was a great song. And,
For years,
go ahead.
Oh, for years I thought that was David Bowie. It's like, because it's the voice, it's got that kind of
I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sing it, but I want to.
I'm just trying to lead you into that, Tim.
And if your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine.
That weird video.
Yeah, with the maypole and the dancing around.
Something's going on, and that little. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's good. Number 2, the Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams Are Made of These.
Great song.
Yeah.
And number 1, Michael Sembello with Maniac.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Tim, you know you want to sing it. She's a what?
She's a maniac. All right. That was a good top 10. That was great.
That was a good top 10, yeah. Which we will put together a playlist available on the Spotify, on our website. And Latchkeydads.com/September
83.
There you go. All right. So we want to cover some events that occurred in that month.
Sure. Let's do
stuff going on. A lot of sporting events happened in September, but this one was kind of funny, I thought. On September 4th, the Californian skier Scott Michael Peloton sets the barefoot water ski speed record. Now, if I were to tell you that, Tim, somebody set the barefoot water ski speed record, how fast do you think maybe that was? Barefoot.
I think barefoot, if you were anywhere over about 40 or 50 miles an hour, your feet would be burning.
Destroyed, right?
Yeah.
119.36 miles per hour.
His nickname is now Stubbs. I can't imagine.
No.
I mean, just doing anything like open air at 119 miles an hour seems insane, but to be doing it on water, like if you, I mean, I've heard that if you hit water at speed, it can feel worse than like hitting
concrete,
bare ground. Yeah. So I assume he didn't fall, but my gosh, that's good for him. Way to go, Scott Michael Peloton. Another event that occurred in that month was Jerry Lewis, who would put on his muscular dystrophy telethon, celebrated their 18th event and raised over $30 million.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Way to go. He's a weird dude, but that was a great thing that he did with that muscular dystrophy telethon. This is kind of cool. On September 9th, Radio Shack announces their color computer 2 called Coco 2. Which I don't think it would have been very good. I don't remember anybody ever having it or seeing it, but that's just maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I remember going into Radio Shack and always just, being a kid, just walking around and picking up everything. And I'm sure I saw a Coco too, but I don't think it took off the way they had hoped.
Yeah.
And, Apple is glad that it didn't. Also that month, Larry Holmes TKO'd Scott Frank in the 5th for the heavyweight boxing title.
Way to go, Larry Holmes.
Yeah.
Also on September 10th, U.S. Open women's tennis competitor Martina Navratilova. Oh boy, hold on. Martina Navratilova. Oh my gosh, Martina Navratilova. Dang, that is a mouthful.
Money. Well done.
So on September 10th, Martina beat Chris Evert Lloyd for her first ever U.S. singles title. And that name, Martina Navratilova, is one that, we heard growing up because she was top of the game for, years.
Yeah. And I also remember, at this point, there just wasn't that much to watch on TV. So, on a Sunday afternoon, I remember watching tennis for, the whole, match, how many different, 6-1, 6-3, 6 to whatever, trying to figure out what the, 10, 20,
love.
30.
What does that mean?
Yeah. But yeah, I watched a ton of tennis. And,
I did too.
Boris Becker and,
all even into the 90s with Andre Agassi.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. And I mean, I still enjoy tennis, but I don't sit and watch tennis matches anymore. But back in the 80s, a lot of tennis. September 13th, Oakland's Ricky Henderson, 3rd straight 100 steals for a season.
Which got me thinking, we had mentioned before, if there's ever a trivia question involving stolen bases, just say Ricky Henderson.
That's right.
This is very cool. On September 16th, Arnold Schwarzenegger became a U.S. citizen. I'll be back.
That was critical, so that he could become the governor.
Many years later.
That's right. On the 18th, Kiss first unmasked, no makeup appearance on MTV.
Oh, okay.
So up until the September 18th of 1983, anytime Kiss appeared, full face mask.
Full face mask, yeah. And finally, on September 22nd, Zhu Zhenhao of China set the high jump record. And this is really amazing, Tim. 7 feet, 9 3/4 inches.
Yeah.
To be able to jump 8 feet, almost 8 feet into the air, that's impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. I'm trying to think of just watching my daughter, she does high jump and watching people flip their bodies in the air, to try to get over the high jump. It's an amazing type of sport, but
Yeah.
to go almost 8 feet off the ground, it's unbelievable.
It's very
pretty cool.
impressive.
Yeah. In addition to the events, we've recently started talking about the TV shows that were airing at that time, and so we'll go through that real quick. On Sunday night, Ripley's Believe It or Not, which I remember watching that show, and it kind of freaked me out because there'd be so many weird, bizarre things that people would do. It was a cool show.
It was like a crystal skull in the beginning. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the opening credits were they really would try to pull you in with those weird little things, and that crystal skull I remember too.
I think it was the coolest thing.
Yeah. The show Alice was on, One Day at a Time, The Jeffersons, and Knight Rider.
Oh God, I love Knight Rider.
And it's funny, I just had Jack, we were at the grocery store, and they had like a Matchbox bin where, and he's recently been wanting to get matchboxes again, which is kind of cool. And they had the Knight Rider.
Did they really?
Yeah, but it was like the Super Pursuit one where it had all the like flaps.
Oh,
and all
yeah,
that stuff
yeah.
out, which I thought was kind of ridiculous back then, but whatever. It's cool.
It was very cool. Yeah. David Hasselhoff. On Monday nights, we had That's Incredible, MASH, Newhart, and Cagney and Lacey.
On Tuesdays, Happy Days was still on. The spin-off of Happy Days, Joni Loves Chachi.
Yes.
Three's Company, 9 to 5, Heart to Heart, and the A-Team. It's a lot to choose from on Tuesday night. Yeah.
Tough decisions, but I was going with A-Team.
Yeah.
I loved that show.
Yeah, it was great. I know I watched a lot of Three's Company in reruns.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was encouraged by Happy Days to want to love Joni Loves Chachi.
Oh, yeah?
But I can't remember even watching the show. Like, I remember it, but I don't remember watching it.
I watched Happy Days on reruns, and I did enjoy that show.
Oh, yeah.
On Wednesdays, we had The Fall Guy, Dynasty, Family Ties, and Saint Elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think in that situation, that's a weird thing to say about TV shows. But The Fall Guy, we've talked about before.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I actually had the Fall Guy lunchbox.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, so, that's awesome.
Where everyone had the mainstream lunchboxes.
Dukes of Hazzard,
I had
probably.
The random Fall Guy. And of course, I still have it. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
With the thermos?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's epic.
I got the whole thing. And Family Ties. That was a good show.
Yeah, I like Family Ties a lot.
Yeah.
Thursdays was Too Close for Comfort. I wasn't a big fan of that one. That's not really... It is interesting how many undercover cop shows there were. Yeah. Like you have or private investigator type shows. You got just here on alone, you got Magnum PI, you got Simon and Simon, and Hill Street Blues all in one night. You got three kind of cop type shows going on. As popular, I guess.
Yeah.
In addition, you had Knots Landing. I don't know what that. I know of it, but I don't know even if was that a cop show too. For all
I feel like it was like another one of the like Dynasty kind of drama shows. Yeah, but I didn't watch it.
Give Me a Break.
Yeah.
Mama's Family, and of course Cheers.
Cheers. Yep. Friday night we had Benson, Webster, and the Dukes of Hazzard.
Nice. And finally on Saturday we had The Love Boat. Different Strokes. I like Different Strokes.
Sure.
Silver Spoons. Definitely liking that. Ricky Schroeder. Yeah. Don't call him that now. It's Rick Schroeder.
He's always got to be Ricky.
And didn't you want to live in that house?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh! Right? Like
it's so cool.
Like he had the train and all the video arcades and stuff. Like I was like, oh man, I want to be that kid. And then finally, TV's bloopers and practical jokes. So pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it's a good time. Excuse me, guys. Sorry to barge in again, but I figured maybe at the end of your show, if anyone didn't hear the beginning, I could just jump in again and get a quick plug in for that product was Duke's Legendary Laxatives, because because going is half the battle. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Tim.
I think it's time for our report card.
That's about that time.
Yep.
So we were questioning whether the movie Eddie and the Cruisers had anything to do with Eddie Money, but they in fact do not. They're completely not related. One is a fictional movie, and the other is a rock and roll guy. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was a nice thought.
yeah, it just kind of seemed too coincidental. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, based on that, only one thing in our report card. What do you think?
I think we deserve like a 99.5, 99.5. Round up to 100.
So another A+?
A+.
Okay.
Tim, did you know that listeners should like, review, and subscribe to the Latch-Key Dads podcast?
No. But now I know.
No,
I know exactly that.